All yours.
And welcome back. That was game number 9, Butts Inc. just defeated by Reavers. That was quite an interesting match. I watched it from the view of a player. But Moomin, what did you think about that match? I think it was a pretty decisive victory by Reavers.
Yeah, ultimately it could have gone very differently for them. But obviously, once they've actually settled in there, they removed the kind of major elements from Butts Inc., and then it all started to fall apart. Really, their butts started to fall apart.
I think the biggest thing that we needed to do was switch off the Anuros when it wasn't breaking and just kill off some of the smaller DPS, especially those bombers, which do quite a bit of DPS. But game number 10 is coming up next. That's Space Violence versus Bomberwolf. I'm hoping to see some more amazing shenanigans from Bomberwolf, and Space Violence get absolutely obliterated, maybe.
Something I do want to add during that last match, Butts actually had an illegal fleet comp. Unfortunately, we didn't notice it until after the match had started. They had we limit the comps to 1 ship per team, and they had 2 crewers. They would have actually had a penalty on that, but in the end, it didn't matter.
Yeah, I believe we one of our guys did bring the wrong ship, which was unfortunate. But like you said, it didn't affect the outcome of the match. So I guess that's okay.
To be honest with you, Butts should have probably bought a few more ships along, and it still would have ended up the same way. Yeah.
Yeah, about another 50.
Probably.
But they go into the losing bracket, and we'll just see where they end up. It'll be interesting to see what tomorrow holds for us.
That's it. They're not out of it at the moment. They've just got a harder path to walk now.
That's right. It's just a little bit more work, but it might just be that we're looking to get a couple of extra fights in. That's all. So we just threw the match a bit. Ashes seemed like we were expecting a kite setup from Ashes, so obviously.
Well, you may get a chance to get your revenge tomorrow. We'll see.
Yeah. So the next match. What are our forecasts for the next match? What do you guys think we'll get out of Space Violence and Bomberwolf?
I think that this could be an interesting one. Bomberwolf, lots of experience, but Space Violence, they've got some interesting chaps there as well. So there again, could be an interesting match. It could go either way for me, I think, really.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a close match. I think we're going to see some ships we haven't seen in the tournament yet. So I think it's going to be very interesting to see this outcome.
Just helping Skeptic fix an issue. His one of his camera ships got smart bombed to death by Asher the Smasher Elias. So he's just trying to get his pod all fixed up. So
okay.
Yeah. There's a couple of technical issues here, but I must say that pretty much everything that I've seen on the stream and all that is been going really well. Everything looks quite polished, and that's all up to Skeptic sitting at home surrounded by 15 different computers handling that. So props to him. This has been really good.
Yeah, Skeptic's been prepping for this a long time, and he certainly made it easy on our side with all the stuff he's done. So tip of the hat to Skeptic there for sure.
Yeah, if you feel like making a donation, you can send it directly to Chimera. That's CHIIMERA.
And it looks like the teams are ready.
All right, teams are ready. We're going to head over to the commentators box once again with Eric Asmok and.
Okay, and hello again. Now we have the match for Bomberwolf versus Space Violet. So on the Bomberwolf team, we have Rattlesnake, Vulture, Scimitars, Veeple, Worm, Hound, and Manticore. And on Space Violence,
Over on Space Violence on the blue team, we've got a Balgorn and a Nearest, a Navy Hellbringer, a Shamu, and a Sweeple, and a Blackbird, and a Navy Slicer. So this is going to be an interesting match.
very much so indeed, particularly by the fact that this is the first Rattlesnake that we've actually seen in our matches so far. And it's also been piloted by the Big Red Boat himself. So we'll have to see how that holds up. On the Balgon for Space Violence is Zazad, who's also like the team captain. So the match is underway. We'll see how things shape up.
And we already see some target painters showing up, so you can see where they're going, at least to start.
That's it, and that Space Violence has like a massive control bar as well, and they're really kind of using that now. You can also see that both teams actually have really quite, large pools of effective health there as well. Navy Slicer, though, taking quite a bit of damage. It's not painted, so it'll probably live okay, but that Worm over on Bomberwolf team is target painted, so that could be in like a little bit of a tougher time there.
We got the Oneros over on Space Violence taking quite a bit of damage. We'll see how that turns out here.
There goes that Worm, already taken off of the grid. So we're going to see like where that damage starts to get applied to next. The Navy Slicer of Space Violence still taking damage there, like chipping away at it. They do have a target painter on it at the moment, but that's Veeple over on Bomberwolf. That's actually now webbed. It's got newt effects on it as well, and its speed has been reduced greatly there because it's actually got point. In fact, it's like 16, which is like, that's double webs. That's really going to take some damage soon.
Yeah, they've got a target painted as well, so.
Yeah, there we go. That
There it goes.
Veeple has gone now. Yeah, so that's another one gone. Space Violence actually now running in the lead at 10 points and doing a really good job at working on the Bomberwolf support team of like this Veeple and the Worm. Generally very good at kind of like taking out smaller ships. That Manticore from Wheels UK, bang, there he goes.
Wow, that was
no
just
longer
gone.
there. The Blackbird, I can only assume that those jams are actually landing well. 3 Neil is now taking damage. The Hounds on Bomberwolf, and in fact, is no more. So we've just got that core component now for Bomberwolf, which is the Rattlesnake, the Vulture, and the Scimitar, and they just need to take all of that damage and all of the control that Space Violence can do. The real question now is, can Bomberwolf actually do anything?
I think it's going to be a challenge. I mean, they've got a nice core there, but I don't think they're going to overcome this one on Space Violence. But that Oneros is taking a lot of damage.
Absolutely. As soon as you say it, it's like it all goes wrong, doesn't it?
They lose that Oneros, it's going to be a big deal.
Well, it is. Yeah, it's definitely going to be like a bit of a tough one, but they've still got lots of control. So, not sure what happened there with that Oneros for it to take such a big chunk of damage. We
structure's going down.
Yeah, that's it. We're going to see whether or not it can actually pull back any of that armor at the moment. There again, it's very, very slow, realistically. It's got target painters on it, but it's got, very little speed, which is quite unusual. It's picking up speed a little bit now, but, is it bait tanking? I mean, is it really that kind of good? I mean, it's possible.
I don't know if I'd bait tank that far into structure. Maybe just a little delay there,
That's it. Well, just looking at it now, and it's like the Rattlesnake from the Big Red Boat taking, quite visible damage now. The Oneros from Space Violence has like pulled back quite a bit of armor, so it looked like there was a bit of a ruse potentially going on there. We'll find out later on, I'm sure. But the Rattlesnake from Boat coming down into like low shields now. he could be easily the next to go.
I think you're probably right on that. I mean, that's clearly their next target on the space violence side. He's really not moving.
Yeah, Rattlesnake's not known for their speed generally anyway, but I mean, it's got a grappler, it's got a web on it. It's relatively locked down, and it looks like they're actually starting to focus a bit of attention over onto the scimitar now of Buttfresh. They're actually going to be looking to wear down his cap and reduce his ability to actually repair the rattlesnake of the big red boat.
Yeah, it looks, and there he goes. He's starting to lose some shield there over on the scimitar. We'll see if he loses the rest of that.
Yeah, that scimitar now from Buttfresh, definitely kind of like taking a hammering there now.
Yeah, with all those newts on him, he's just not going to last.
Very much so. And also speed greatly reduced as well, down to just 60 meters per second or so. Yeah, it looks like Buttfresh is soon going to go. And there we go. And I suspect that Space Violets are now going to flick back over onto the rattlesnake of the big red boat.
As they are, and they've, there's not much that Bomberwaff can do at this point.
That's it, but he's like, kind of is shaping up to be a great kind of battle there for Space Violence. I mean, historically, not kind of the sort of high-profile names that some of the other teams have, but they've really come up with the goods here, and Bomberwaff have been picked apart really effectively. Space Violence went for the worm first, then the Sveeple, then took out the bombers, and they've just been really precise in how they've actually executed their plan to take apart Bomberwaff.
Yeah, and it heads off to Jerry Frederickson there for his little ruse, because I think you were right on that one. Either that or he just missed a cycle and survived it.
Yeah, it could have been luck. Anything else like that, not too sure. But yeah, I mean, it's a case of like Jerry definitely did have a lot of Bomberwaff's attention for quite a big chunk there. Yeah, that was like either luck or good piloting. Let's say it's good piloting.
We'll go with that one for sure. And this
Yeah,
vulture's
cool.
not going to last very long.
Always give the benefit of the doubt. So the vulture now of Roannan is just like hanging in there, but at the speed that they're going, yeah, I mean, it's like, they're kind of like crashing now.
Yeah, there he goes.
And there we go. Goodbye, Roannan, as well. So we've got Bomberwaff absolutely locked out from this match, 0 points. And we have Space Violence with an absolute clean sweep running 70.
Welcome back. That rounds out game number 10 and every game for the first day of the Imperium tournament. Space Violence versus Bomberwaff. Space Violence going through to going through to tomorrow to fight the other undefeated team, Reavers. Bombers go into the loser bracket. Bomberwaff goes into the loser bracket. But that was a really fun and interesting match, Moomin.
Yeah, I mean, Space Violence really came up with the goods with that one. So, definitely a good, strong showing for them. It will be interesting to see how Boat reacts.
Yeah, and Bomberwaff, really, really strong team coming into their first two matches, absolutely decimated pretty much, and it just shows maybe the strength of the Space Violence team. Obviously, their first match against Thunderstruck was a bit of an easy win for them, but definitely Bomberwaff made them work for it this time.
And just to correct you on that, is like decimated is you lose 1 in 10. That was annihilated. I'm pretty sure I just witnessed annihilation there.
Well, like most of the words that I know are swear words, and I've been told that I'm not supposed to swear very much. So I'm trying to behave myself. But I'm going to hand over to the lead organizer of the tournament, Sothrasil, for a couple of words.
Well, guys, I hope you had fun for the first day. I want to give a very big shout out to CCP Logibro for making this possible. Without access to the Thunderdome server, this would have been a lot harder for us to pull off. So thank you, CCP Logibro, especially for all the last minute help we got from you. And thanks to CCP in general for providing this awesome game so we can do this. I also want to thank Kiala and Tango Papa 7 for helping me organize this and keeping us on time the whole day. You've guys been a great help. Also, thanks a lot to Skeptic Nerd Guy for basically doing this whole streaming thing on his own. And that's from me. I believe Kiala wanted to say something as well.
Yeah, thank you, Soth, for putting this together. Again, thank you to Skeptic Nerd Guy for running this from his control room. He's made us look like we halfway knew what the hell we were doing today, which is pretty impressive considering all the things going on behind the scenes. And thank you to all our commentators. You've done a wonderful job today. This couldn't have gone better. Thank you.
Well, I'm just kind of flabbergasted that Sothrasil wasn't angry at all when he talked. Now, anybody want to have a little bit of a discussion about day 2? Day 2 is going to happen at exactly the same time as we started today, and that will be the finals. So beginning at 1900, hopefully wrap up by about 2300. But it looks like it should be pretty good and pretty exciting, Moomin.
Well, I'm going to say, like, definitely. I mean, it's like the first 3 matches that we've got lined up tomorrow. We've got V4 and Buttsink. So there again, interesting showings from both teams. Both got like stuff to prove here. So that's going to be interesting. Wildly Inappropriate versus Bomberwoff. It's like, that surely just has to be a big match, because that is the Bomberwoff number 1 versus the Bomberwoff number 2. So that's going to be like a relatively interesting one. And then again, with Reavers and Space Violence, is Reavers have put in a strong showing. Space Violence, they're again with the match that we've just seen against Bomberwoff, not a pushover. That was like a good match. So there again, we could expect great things from them. All of the teams have been shown to bring stuff that isn't what they're historically recognized for. So tomorrow is going to be a really interesting lineup. I'm really looking forward to this, and we'll find out who is going to be the winner of the TIT 2016.
All right, let's thank you to the viewers, commentators, and referees. This has been the Imperium tournament. We'll see you back here again tomorrow at 1900.